Gee, it was like I told you so. Recently I made a video about how Marvel's changes to established characters were probably not based on some altruistic notion of representing diverse people in their audience, but was actually about something a little bit more realistic. At the time it was purely speculative, but the evidence seemed to point to the fact that Marvel has a history of editing certain characters out of their comics, see Rom Space Knight, all in an effort not to pay the owners royalties. There was also the lawsuit brought on by the family of Jack Kirby, the man without whom there would quite literally be no Marvel. Yes, I know all about Stan Lee. I wrote the documentary about him for that other channel. But it was Jack Kirby who brought Stan's visions to life on the page. The other man who co-created Marvel's most popular and comics as a whole most profitable character, Spider-Man, was Steve Ditko. Now that we're on the precipice of a new Spider-Man movie with Doctor Strange, another character that Ditko co-created, Marvel has filed lawsuits against the estate of Steve Ditko in order to prevent copyright termination. What that means is that in 2023, the family of Steve Ditko can get the rights back to Spidey, Doctor Strange, Ben Parker, Aunt May, Electro, Green Goblin, Mary Jane Watson, Kraven the Hunter, and really just about any other character associated with Spider-Man back with the Ditko family. Which means that Disney and Marvel would have to pay them royalties for using them. So what did Disney do? What else? They sue and say, "It's our ball and you can't play with it." Disney and Marvel claim that these characters were created as work for hire, meaning that anything created by Ditko and other artists at the time was done so for the company, and they have signed away their rights to them. Well, we're eventually going to see how well that holds up. But given what's been happening with Disney and Marvel lately, would it really be so bad if the rights to these characters fell into the domain of the families of their original creators? Take a look at the comics side of things. It's an absolute and abject mess. Marvel has been hiring writers and artists on the cheap, and the results speak for themselves. All of this has been under the guise of wanting to appeal to a new audience, an idea we can finally put to rest as Those people who lined up overnight for iPhones, shopped at Whole Foods, and dressed like a lumberjack living 100 miles from the nearest tree were never going to buy comics no matter how diverse you made them. And the characters you did create?
Oh, wait, you serious? Let me laugh even harder.
Let's just say you were delusional, thinking they were ever going to become household names. So what do I expect is going to happen? Well, this is Disney we're talking about. If things look grim at the 11th hour, expect them to walk into the office and say to the Ditko family, "What will it take to make this problem go away?" They're a large corporation. That's what they do to avoid bad publicity. However, the long-term damage done to the brand may be irreparable, at least on the comic side of things. The comics division doesn't make money anymore. A few years ago, they were,
"And if you don't like my politics, don't buy my book."
And now they're saying,
I think I tend to be pretty optimistic, but in this one I'm worried. I'm straight worried.
"Gee, I wonder what happened." Oh yeah, that's right. As Julius Caesar once said, the die is cast. These actions cannot be undone. However, I will say with great sadness, the American comics industry needs to fail. If anything, afterwards, it will teach them that they themselves have written their own epitaph. Through countless bad decision after bad decision, it pains me to see what's become of mainstream comics. The new audience you thought would show up didn't. You thought you could get rid of us, and you thought wrong. Now Marvel and DC have to pay the price for it. Comics will always be around in some form, but we don't have to get them from you. See you next time.
Yeah, no.